Welcome back to episode 7 of the Fade podcast. Once again, I'm joined by my colleagues Cam Britt, Steve Laurie, and Ethan McLeod. We're missing our Dallas boy this week. I guess he's a no-show after that horrible loss they took to the
Which is to be
49ers.
expected.
Yeah, he didn't want to hear it this week, did he?
No, he's definitely embarrassed after what that Dak did on Sunday.
Yeah, we had a lot to
show him the ring.
We had a lot to discuss about it too. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on in Dallas.
Well, that's just Dallas fans for you right there.
Yeah, you know what I mean. They don't want to take the fire after the loss. You know what I mean?
They're all talk all season until they lose in the playoffs.
Yep.
Now say they would have won, he would have been in here. Going out on blast on all of us.
And now Dak's the worst quarterback in the league all of a sudden.
Yeah,
but 2 weeks ago he was the best. So
going off of that, we're gonna recap the playoffs. First, let's go Bengals Bills. Big one there.
Yeah, I was quite surprised, to be honest with you. Like, I really thought the Bills were going to come out with a little fire under them, but it looked like they were flat. And then Diggs going off on Josh Allen. I mean, that's a shame, man. I think Josh Allen is a top-tier quarterback. And don't get me wrong, Diggs is a really good wide receiver, but I don't think he has the right to be yelling at Josh Allen like that. But it is what it is. But I was shocked, just as anybody was.
Yeah, Steve? I don't think he's a team player at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody wants to win in the NFL, but most guys you see like that are number one wide receivers and that are stars, they're mostly team players. Stephon Diggs, they lose in the playoffs. He's obviously not a team player, so we'll see what happens. I like Diggs, don't get me wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah, we've seen in the past that Diggs at times he's just like a hothead.
Very short-fused.
Yeah. So I don't think it was anything personal to Josh Allen, but at the same time, like, that's your quarterback. He had one bad game, so
right.
Like you can't be yelling at your quarterback like that. And if he was that much of a star wide receiver, he should be getting more than 4 targets. Like, okay, if Josh Allen isn't seeing you, that's one thing. But throughout the whole game, only getting 4 targets, that's telling you something. It's telling you weren't open.
Yeah, definitely. I think with any competitor, like it wasn't just on the field how he was yelling. He went into the locker room, dude, and stormed out of there before anyone could even get in. And then Duke Johnson had to go and grab him before he left the stadium. At the end of the season, when you're not going to see your guys up until the start of training camp and OTAs, that's your final time you see them before you go on this break. That's when, all right, let's reflect on this season. Let's have each other's back right there. That whole locker room should have went up to Josh Allen and, just said, hey, listen, I know we lost, but we still got your back. You're our QB. But I can understand, like, Diggs, but not to the extent of being a crybaby necessarily about it, like walking out on your team and now there's these trade rumors, all this stuff. I just think he could have handled it a lot better, but like he said, he's like, I love Josh, don't get me wrong, but when I expect someone to play up to these standards, and as I know we're better than what we played, I'm just going to be upset about it. You have every right to be upset, but at the same time, it wasn't just Josh Allen. Where was your defense that game? Because if your offense isn't producing, the Bills have, again, one of the top defenses in this league. They didn't produce. They didn't hold the Bengals to anything. Like Burrow threw for 242 and 2 tutties. Mixon had, and you got to think they didn't even really have to throw the ball. They were destroying them. And Mixon had 105 on the ground. But when both Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs combined for 6 catches for, I think, a little over 60, I think it was like 69, 68 yards, that's your number 1 and number 2 receivers who aren't doing nothing. But I don't know.
Yeah, going back.
I don't know. Go ahead, Edie. Sorry.
Going back to Diggs, I also see it as like the NFL is a business, and it's not just on the field where you have to act professional. It's off the field, and like after the game, he just like Luke said, he just stormed out of the stadium. He didn't even go to the press conference, and like that right there, that's just being a sore loser and unresponsible. Because like he had to have his teammate, he had to have Cole Beasley talk upon him. Like you shouldn't be doing that to your teammates. That's just
and he's the captain of this football team. You know what I mean?
There's a difference between being emotional and being irrational, and I think he crossed that line. But in terms of the game, the Bills just got completely outmanned. Both sides of the ball, the Bengals' offensive line destroyed the Bills' defense. I mean, every play, the Bengals were gaining 8-9 yards on first down, and it just looked like they're having their way completely. The Bills' defense, they couldn't do anything to stop the Bengals, and their offensive line couldn't block for shit, honestly. So I think the Bills have to recoup. They really got to figure stuff out.
Now I guess the aura surrounding Josh Allen is he's gonna be that guy that can never win the big games. He'll never make it to a Super Bowl. They're calling him now the Phillip Rivers of this era. What's your guys' opinion on that?
I don't think he is in that sense. I think Phillip Rivers was a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Like I think he was an all-time great. For as many kids as he has zero like Super Bowls or anything like that. But like Josh Allen is like he is a step above what Rivers used to be, in my personal opinion. Like he's more athletic. He's got a better arm.
More fire than Phillip too.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't think that comparison is fair, to be honest.
I think they're just comparing it to where it's like he can't win. Like he's a good quarterback, but just can't win the big games when it happens. But like Phillip Rivers was never really put into the big time games.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers, he made the playoffs probably like 4 or 5 times in his career, and he played for like 17 seasons. So Josh Allen, he's only 26. Like, maybe 5-6 years from now, I could get that comparison if he doesn't win anything. But I could definitely see him at least making the Super Bowl one time in the next.
I would hope so. I would hope so. And in all honesty, dude, like we talked about it when the playoffs started. The AFC is no joke. Like that side is stacked. Now, like if you took the Bills and put them in the NFC, that they'd be trouble. You know what I mean? That'd be a team that like they're the favorites for the Super Bowl. But
they would have already made the Super Bowl probably.
Yeah.
Josh Allen was also the favorite to win MVP in the beginning of the year, dude. So I definitely agree with Ethan 100%. Like he's way too young to even compare him to Phillip Rivers. I mean, I can see Josh Allen. I mean, I think obviously I've said it before. I think Joe Burrow surpassed him. But I definitely see Josh Allen winning an MVP and the Super Bowl throughout his career. I'm sorry, at least once for sure.
Going off of that game, Jags Chiefs 27-20 Chiefs. Mahomes, he can just do it all, hey.
No, not everything. I don't think he's going to beat the Bengals this week, but that game was honestly no surprise. I didn't think it was going to be that competitive. I mean, I picked the Jags to win in hopes that the Chiefs would lose, but you get what you get. I'm not really complaining about it. It's just the Chiefs are a very good football team.
Definitely, I definitely didn't think it was going to be as competitive as it was either.
I don't even think they have that good of a team, man, honestly, the Chiefs. I just think they have a good quarterback and they have good coaches surrounding that quarterback. Mahomes is a monster.
That's the fall off.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever had a great defense within them because they've been to the championship the past couple of years. I don't think they've had a great defense either of those years, honestly. It's always been the offense. But a lot of people said about how Mahomes couldn't do it without Tyreek and this and that when he was going to Miami. He's obviously proven it, dude, in my opinion. I just think Mahomes is up here, dude, and then there's like Burrow, Allen, and Hurts.
Like he's steps ahead of these guys,
Right,
levels ahead
right.
of these guys.
Yeah, I think that game was pretty much went exactly how I expected, other than Mahomes getting hurt. But even with him getting hurt, and he was sat out one possession. Chad Henne came in, did his thing, but then Mahomes came right back, and you could obviously tell he was hurting. Like he was limping when he was going back to hand the ball off. But that just shows you how good he is and how dedicated he is to the team. And he didn't waver once. Like he was making one foot hop throws off his left foot. Like,
Yeah, dude.
He could literally do everything, no matter.
He's a monster.
Shape he's in.
And their running back Pacheco, man, he had a big game too. He had 95 on the ground. But like, dude, when you have a guy like Travis Kelce, who by the time he's said and done with his career, I think he's going to be the greatest tight end of all time, in my opinion. There's arguably what Gonzalez, Gates, Gronk, etc. But like when it's all said and done with him, I think he might be like the most effective tight end.
You could argue that he's the best receiving already.
Huh?
You could argue that he's the best receiving tight end already of all time.
That's what I mean. Yeah, dude. Like,
so that's definitely I can agree with you.
He had another 2-tutty game.
He's a freak.
Yeah, like, and with Mahomes
there, he's just getting everything.
And with Mahomes, dude, like even on one foot, if people want to say, because I was a guy saying, oh, he's just hobbling because he wants everyone going and saying, oh, look at Mahomes.
That's his brother.
Dude, but the same thing is, dude, regardless, dude, he's doing it on one foot. Like, I'm fully aware that he's injured. Obviously, you saw how bad his ankle got snapped. There's going to be just a lot. Like, this game's not going to be a pushover game.
No.
By no means. He has to come in there expecting a shootout. Like, this is going to be a high-powered game. Burrow's going to be slinging a rock, so is Mahomes. I don't see Pacheco having that big of a game. I think it's going to be the pass game. Going off of that one, Dallas 49ers, 19-12 49ers. I thought it would have been a little better of a game than what we watched.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good game.
Yeah, defensively.
I thought it was a good game too, but
isn't that what we expected though?
Just thinking if I had a quarterback like that, I'd be disappointed at this point, honestly.
I think he has the same playoff record as Tony Romo. I think they're both 2-4 in the playoffs, and then in divisional games or whatnot, they're 0 whatever. I think 0-1 or 0-2. I think it's time, like Jerry Jones. This is why I wanted Dylan in this, for Jerry Jones to like necessarily move on. Me as an Eagles fan, though, I thought that game would have went a little bit different if Tony Pollard didn't fracture his fibula, I believe it was. And I think that game would have went a lot different than what it should have been, because their second half running was not good at all. And dude, I like Zeke as an Eagles fan. I like Zeke, but dude, Zeke is not cutting it anymore.
No, going into that game, I didn't think that Zeke would be a factor at all. I thought they would have relied on Pollard in the passing game and running game. He's more explosive, and that's what you need against San Fran. But yeah, unfortunately, he got hurt for Dallas, because Dallas had every chance in the second half to score and win the game, or at least make it a tied game at some points. But their offense just continued to fall behind, and their defense kept them in it. But really, their offense let them down, and they really didn't look effective after Pollard got injured at all.
I think the game told like a major story for both teams. Like, it exploited so many things wrong with the Cowboys and so many things wrong with the 49ers even, because there's holes in both of their games. Obviously, people thought Dak Prescott was the guy, in Dallas, but now the narrative has changed where he sucks. Like, get him out, So I think it's a good thing for both teams, to be honest with you. For it being a low-scoring game, I think it shows the offense's weaknesses and maybe possibilities of getting some strengths next year.
Yeah, I actually saw on Twitter, Cowboys fans were petitioning for the Cowboys to trade Dak and sign Carson Wentz. That's how bad.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. It wasn't just like one person. It was like a whole tweet.
Wow.
I was just going to say, dude, I feel like Dak is the new Carson Wentz of the NFC East, honestly, because he's making all this money, dude. He's not performing up to par, so
that's the thing, though. Is how do you trade him though? Like exactly what Zeke. How do you trade these guys that have all this guaranteed money behind them? Then you know what I mean. And this is Jerry.
Dude,
this is Jerry Jones' wrongdoing, to where he's favoriting players that aren't doing whatever. He's going and giving them these big contracts, and they're just not producing them after. You know, like Dak Prescott. I wouldn't say he's a piss poor of a quarterback, but like he's not your guy that you know. All right, we're gonna definitely come in and win this game. That's just how it is, you know. Like there's quarterbacks when they play this game, they know, all right, we're winning this game.
It's not a quarterback that you're gonna win a Super Bowl behind.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dallas fans are starting to see that now.
I feel like it's the same thing every year with Dak. Like he has a lot of potential, and every year you go on saying, oh, if he improves a little bit, if he is more consistent. You know, two weeks ago he had arguably the best game of his career against the Bucs, and then next week he comes in, throws 2 picks, puts his defense in a horrible position, and really just makes a lot of bad throws and bad decisions. So I don't really know what the next step is for him, because it seems like he's not going to improve in that aspect at all. So I think it'll be interesting how they handle this offseason in terms of are they going to try to move him? Are they going to just keep the same team and roll with it, see if anything changes?
Yeah, because their cap room isn't that high every year. It's because they have all these guys signed. What I thought was stupid is Mike Gallup. I don't know, did he break his ankle or tear his ACL? He did something to where he needed surgery last season, right?
Yeah, I think it was an ACL.
And he needed surgery, and they signed him on a torn ACL, like in the whatever. They're like, oh, all right, we're still gonna bring him back. Who in their right mind does that?
Jerry Jones, because Gallup, you know, it's a horse sound, and Cowboys, you know, Jerry Jones is more.
That's what I mean, dude. It's just like stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like they don't evaluate their talent as much as they should year in and year out. They take what a guy's potential could be and what he's shown them for 1 year or even in training. They're like, oh, he's good, so let's sign him for a long deal. I feel like that's obviously not working out for them.
Yeah.
2 guys that Dallas needs to sign in the future is CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. And Tony Pollard. They need to part ways with Zeke, dude, and they need to figure something out with Tony Pollard, because he's starting to get into that point where he's going to be in the prime of his career. Like Luke said earlier, dude, Zeke's not cutting it. Like, they might be committed to Zeke, and he might be willing to take a pay cut for them, but if he's not producing, he's not producing. Tony Pollard, on the other hand, is. He might not be an every down back, but that's when you draft a running back, dude, to split the touches with him. I'm not a Dallas fan, obviously, but I definitely think Tony Pollard is a top 10, maybe like 11 or 12 running back.
Yeah, but like Pollard just broke his fibula. You know what I mean? So now this is where it comes iffy, is because he was a free agent, right? So now where do they necessarily go with him breaking his fibula? Is he going to return and be the same guy? You know, like.
I didn't even know he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with Pollard, like how his injury progresses. But I honestly don't know what the Cowboys are going to do with Zeke's contract and Dak's contract. They really don't have room to sign Pollard to the deal that he'll probably want and deserve.
I heard a franchise tag possibly.
It might be worth it at this point.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, it might be worth it to tag him at this point.
That's what I mean. Just give him a 1-year deal. Running backs, when they get franchise tagged, they're getting like, I think 12 to 15. So
is Dallas losing like a lot of people to free agency over the offseason or not?
No, not really.
I don't think so.
That's what I thought.
That is the Eagles.
Just like the veterans, just like some like veterans that they picked up. I think like Malik Hooker, stuff like that. I don't think they're really losing anyone besides like D linemen, like Fowler, like stuff like that.
Well, Kellen Moore might end up, or go ahead, just go off that.
Yeah, no, go ahead. What were you saying about Moore?
I was going to say Kellen Moore's probably going to be a head coach, so.
Yeah, and I like Kellen Moore.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Going off that, 38-7 Philly Giants, wasn't expecting a blowout. No,
I think I called like a 3 or 4 point game.
Yeah, I thought it was a trap game.
Yeah, I thought the Giants defense was going to come out, and I thought they were going to hold us a lot in the first half. I expected it to be like maybe a 1-score game throughout most of the game, and then the Eagles were going to pull away in the end. But yeah, they were so impressive.
They were, dude. I think that defense, when healthy, I said it on the Philly pod yesterday, is arguably the best secondary in the league.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, I could agree with you. I mean, you're not entertained. I mean, Jesus. With Hurts in the backfield, and if A.J. Brown gets more touches this week and he's not upset about, like, getting minimal touches, I think he was upset about his hip too. I mean.
Yeah, I think he pulled a hammy or something.
It's going to be a really good game coming up against 49ers.
The Eagles, they didn't even need A.J. Brown. So that's not a question. And the 49ers, they've been giving up a lot of receptions and yards to number one wide receivers. Like CD, he had 10 catches, 117 yards last week. DK Metcalf, he had a big game in the wild card. So I think AJ will come out definitely with a better game this week.
I think it's crucial for him too.
Yeah, I think he's due for this big game, and like if he's not, I know Steve's boy Skinny Smith will step up then. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a big game. This is our biggest test. Like last week we had 268 on the ground combined with all of our running backs and Jalen. So this is a big week for us. We two games to win it all, to win all the glory and everything, and just to prove that our road here wasn't that easy. Going off that,
people hold on, Luke. People all year have been saying the Eagles haven't had a real test. Like the Eagles been playing they obviously had the easiest schedule in terms of win-loss percentage from last year.
I think that's bull crap in a way. You know what I mean? They're all NFL teams.
The Eagles had the best record against winning teams, 7-1. So, but hey, this week it'll either silence everyone or maybe prove them right. But
definitely,
I guess we'll see, because San Francisco is definitely the real deal and definitely a real test.
I think if we could exploit the pass, though, man, I think it's crucial that A.J. Brown goes off this game.
Yeah.
The 49ers secondary really isn't the best. They do have a really good run defense, but the secondary, man, the pass and defense just isn't there, in my opinion. We have 3 very, very talented targets that we can exploit this week, and it is very crucial to do that, dude. It's crucial to give Miles Sanders that ball. And A.J. Brown, this is why we paid you, dude, to come here. You have been my favorite player, dude, in the league for like 3 years now. Please go off this weekend. We need it.
Yeah, it's going to be crucial for us to do something here, and it's a big game. I think what we were saying before is there stuff to then look at? I think it was Cam who said that with the Dallas 49ers game. Is there stuff then that you can go and look at necessarily and be like, well, they did this against the 49er or against Dallas. Can we exploit it a little bit? So we'll see with that. Going off that, your picks for this week: Bengals, Chiefs. What do we got?
All right. We're going with the Bengals all day, man. Joe Burrow is kicking the living shit out of Mahomes this week. 2 scores, put it on Cincinnati.
Burrow, they're going to pound the Chiefs, dude. He's going back to the Super Bowl. I said it a couple weeks ago that he was going to carry them through the playoffs. I don't mean to brag, but I called it. They're going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Bengals, they look unbeatable right now. Their offense, they're just humming along. Their offense and defensive line playing great. Their defense, they're getting really good pass rush, which they've been doing that like low key all season.
Mm-hmm.
But just saw a video today. Patrick Mahomes was walking out of a press conference. He had nothing wrapped around his ankle, no limp. So I'm going with the Chiefs. If Patty's healthy, I'm taking him. I know that Burrow's 3-0 against Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he could win 4 in a row. I mean, he's a great quarterback. Bengals are a great team. I got to ride with Big Red.
Big Red. Is that because he looks like a tornado out there?
I'm riding with the Chiefs here too. I watched a video today and I seen the storyline about when they let go of Andy Reid. And I think there's going to be a big story here where in the Super Bowl it's going to be Philly and against Andy Reid. I seen it all to where they're all saying Andy Reid's washed, like as a coach, obviously. Like obviously he's not playing football, that big old. But yeah, I just think we're gonna see Pat Mahomes. When Pat Mahomes is healthy, he's unstoppable, and it's insane because how good Joe Burrow looks. I think it's hard to beat a good quarterback, arguably, when he's said and done, going to be the best of all time 4 times. But we will always see, like, it's going to be Mahomes versus Burrow, Mahomes versus Allen. It's going to be insane, but I'm going Kansas City. Eagles, San Fran. Where are we going there?
Yeah.
I mean,
this is an easy pick. Obviously, I'm going with the Birds. But so I have something interesting. So you know how I mentioned before that that exploiting the 49ers offense, maybe Brock Purdy a little bit. So the Eagles defensive back coach, DK McDonald, and their defensive assistant coach, Tyler Scudder, were at Iowa State, were coaches at Iowa State on their defensive side of the ball when Purdy was there. They looked at this kid for 4 years throughout his college career. I'm guaranteeing they're gonna say some stuff. Hey, this gets in this kid's head. They're gonna wreck him, man. I think it's gonna be a good game, a hard-nosed football game. But damn, if the Birds don't win by 3 scores, no, I'm just joking. It's gonna be a 3-point game at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't think the Eagles will come out like last week, going up 28-0 at halftime. But I can't pick against the Birds. Come on now. Birds, they're going to the Super Bowl. I'll take them by 50.
I agree with Cam, dude. I think that it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be like 3 to 6 points that the Eagles win by.
yeah, I'm rocking with the Birds. I didn't know that, Cam. I didn't know
Yeah, I
that.
found it. I was watching Good Morning Football on the NFL Network, and this guy was talking about it. I was like, that's some interesting stuff. What are the odds of that?
Yeah, I had no idea about that, and that actually helps a lot for Philly because Sirianni and them, they probably didn't even talk to those guys all year. And they're like, hey, we know you know something about Purdy. So they probably pulled him in. And you know what? I said this. I said Purdy's going to have a rude awakening against the Birds if it happens. I said bring any team against us. And this team is the team that will go and say, you know what, buddy? You had a good run. All credit where it's due. But, hey, we're coming in there. We're going to sack you 5 to 6 times, maybe 7 or 8. And we're gonna put you on the ground. I would not be surprised here, and I don't wish anyone to ever get hurt. I would not be surprised if Birdie ends up getting laid out in this game by Javon Hargrave or Hassan Reddick, and like something happens to him, and that you got to see Jimmy G walking in there with his bum knees and seeing him try and pull off a miracle. You know, Jimmy G, you might as well kiss your career in San Fran goodbye, because this is the last time you're suiting up as a 49er as well. And I pray to God you come in. I pray to God so you can get at least one snap under center to go off that way, but it's not happening unless Purdy goes down. But Purdy, listen, Mr. Irrelevant, you're the most relevant guy right now in the NFL. But I'm sorry. The Eagles are coming to exploit you bad, and we're going to make a fool out of Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I think what the Eagles have to do to win this game is they have to have a good pass rush. Like last week, we saw whenever the Cowboys got pressure on Purdy, he either like scrambled out and threw it away, or he kind of just like folded under pressure. But when he had a clean pocket, he had time to survey the field. He delivered those throws. I think they'll have to watch for McCaffrey out of the backfield, especially if they're getting a rush on Purdy. They're going to try to get the ball out of his hands quick. So I think that those are like the two main focal points, I would say, for the defense this week. But if they can contain McCaffrey and Debo out of the backfield, I think they'll have no problem.
Yeah, I'm more worried about Kittle, dude. I think our CBs, if Maddox is healthy, and even if he's not, if CJ comes down and plays in the slot, I'm content with our secondary in this game. I'm worried about Kittle. I think, like our linebackers need to be ready to cover him. And if not, then we need a safety over top ready for Kittle at all times. Same if we play like Mahomes and Kelsey in the Super Bowl. They're tight ends, which I know it's necessarily kind of shifting away off Kittle where he's not really their guy anymore. It's kind of like Debo and McCaffrey. It's all of them, but like it's not like Kittle's our main guy anymore.
Main guy like Kelsey, yeah.
To where they lean off of Kittle. They don't do that anymore. Like now Kittle's been stepping up heavy. But this is where like I'm worried more or less about Kittle. And Debo in the backfield, dude, he's something else. Like, that's crazy because I think he's more effective when he's in the backfield than he is as a receiver. That's just my opinion. I think he's a very good like running back in a way.
Oh yeah, he's built like a running back.
He's
he
massive.
could always convert too, dude. He might end up converting. Who knows?
Well, yeah, they have him for 3 more years.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Debo out of the backfield with McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell. Don't forget to mention him. He's a solid running back. Yeah. They have a lot of weapons, and I think the Eagles secondary, like Luke said, they'll be fine. They have probably the best secondary in the league, so I'm not really worried about that. I think they'll play CJ GJ on Kittle for most of the part, so I think he'll be fine. I'm just worried about out of the backfield and. Like kind of like the dump down throws and stuff like that could lead to a lot of yardage, like yards after catch. That's really my main concern. If
they're not ready for coming out of the backfield and then they have blockers over on the left or right side coming out, that's what scares me is because Christian McCaffrey, dude, when he's in open field and he gets ahead of Steve running, dude. Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about, those check down routes and those quick passes like the slants and stuff like that and the in routes.
Definitely.
Because that's McCaffrey, dude. That's where he plays his best football. And he's arguably the best running back in the league himself. So like Luke just said, dude, if he's playing with a head of steam on him, dude, he's going to be extremely effective. And Philly needs to be prepared for that.
Anything else, boys? Anything else with the playoffs this week?
No, I guess we'll find out on Sunday who's going to the Super Bowl. Who's playing the Birds in the Super Bowl?
Hey, we're not here to shoot for our guys to be in this stupid little Pro Bowl stuff. Because you know what? I'm not turning that on unless the Birds are in it to watch what Eli and Peyton and Snoop Dogg and
Coach
Pete Davidson. Yeah, like what is that, dude? You know, like that's stupid, man. But I mean, I guess, dude, it was kind of flag football or two hadn't touched the last like 4 years.
Stupid.
They kind of had to change something.
Yeah, they did, man.
I just think they ruined it at this point, though.
It's like a physical education class now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's bad. Going off that, we already discussed Diggs and Allen's frustration. We already said what we had to say about that. Read today, Ezekiel Elliott's willing to take a pay cut.
Question is he worth it?
He shouldn't have gotten all that money anyway, to be honest with you.
I think he's willing to take the pay cut because he knows his time in Dallas is going to be shorter if he doesn't take it. You know, and I guess he's kind of seeing his role now diminish, and he knows that, all right, well, I know Dallas can maybe get me to the playoffs every year. I like being in Dallas. I've been there for, 6-7 years already. So I think he will take he wants to take the pay cut just because he knows that all these trade rumors are sparking up, and Pollard, obviously. You know, now the NFL is consistent of two running back systems to be successful.
Yeah, I think that's Zeke's main option right now. If he wants to stay in Dallas, he needs to take a pay cut, or else they're going to lose out on Pollard and probably lose out on other key pieces, and
yeah,
they're not going to make it anywhere.
Well, because that's what I was saying. I was going to say earlier is when you have Dak signed and you have Zeke signed to this money, and Gallup then also signed to it. I think he's making like $15 million a year, dude. Like it was like 5 years. Yeah, no, and
injury prone.
So how do you then pay? How do you then go and pay then your future stars like Pollard, your guys like Trayvon Diggs, Micah, especially? Like Micah's gonna go and get the highest paid linebacker contract that was probably ever made. And he deserves that by all means. You know, so if you have these guys making that money, you can't be dishing out that.
Well, you just said about Diggs, dude. I think he's a solid corner to have for his rookie deal until that's up, but I don't think Dallas will end up paying him, dude. Diggs has always been the type of corner, and I know people say this a lot. He's either going to give up 6, dude, or he's going to pick the ball and he's going to get 6. But he just goes up and tries to go for interceptions, man, way too much, dude. It's ridiculous. I don't think he's a good corner to sign at all. I think they move on from Diggs, honestly, when his rookie deal is up. But yeah, like you said, you got to save up to pay Micah. He's going to get a massive contract. And honestly, you got to save up to pay CeeDee Lamb too, because he's going to want money. Like, he's been proven to be pretty effective, man.
Me and Eddie talked about this. Trayvon Diggs actually had a pretty good season.
Did, but it's not like a outstanding season, you know what I mean?
No, definitely not. Like, he's not. I would think though, if you got Trayvon Diggs, an actual number 1 corner, Trayvon Diggs would be probably a top 2, 3 number 2 corner in the league.
I think he would probably be the best number 2 corner in the league if he was just a number 2. But at number 1, man, there's just too many good receivers in this league that'll just burn him. AJ Brown's his father, so.
No, Steve, he wouldn't be number 1 because number 1 is James Bradbury.
Oh yeah, nah.
Going off of Dallas, we've seen now Rodgers. He's willing to restructure his deal. Now he was saying about winning MVPs, stuff like that, and then Gronk went and said something, and then he went back on the Pat McAfee show, and he goes, people love in this generation to make out a villain. They didn't watch the full clip. He said, I think I could win MVPs, but the goal is to win a Super Bowl. Now, he said, with or without Green Bay, he's like, I don't want to move on from Green Bay. My plan is to retire there, but I don't want to be in a rebuild mode. But now he's willing to restructure his deal as well. So what's your guys' takes on that?
I think Rodgers, he really came out and showed that he's really not that selfish, because he said, like, if Green Bay, if they traded him or whatever, he wouldn't have any hard feelings. Like, if they felt that it was time to move on, like they're heading in a different direction, that, you know, he would understand. So I think that really shows that it's not all about MVP. It's not all about him. It's, you know, he wants to do what's best for the team that he's playing for, whether that'll be the Packers, whether it be the Jets, the Colts, any other team. I think he just wants. He's definitely not going to retire. Like, he definitely wants to keep playing, and I think he'll just play wherever someone wants him the most.
I definitely think he needs to restructure his contract if they're to get any weapons, though. I said it before. I think he's going to remain in Green Bay. He's a for lifer there, no doubt in my mind. But in order for them to be good, they have to get help for him. I mean, he's getting older in age. He's still playing relatively well. I mean, coming off an MVP season last year. But, I mean, he doesn't have Devontae anymore. Who would they go out and get? And that's what I'm curious to find out, if he could take a restructured contract and what the Packers would be able to do with that.
Yeah, he could. I think he could very well stay in Green Bay. It just depends. I think it depends on what they do with their pick. They have the 15th overall pick. Their top two needs are probably wide receiver and tight end, honestly. So if they would go out with their 15th pick and get a weapon for him, I think I could see him staying there. And you'd have Christian Watson in his second year. He could build chemistry with Aaron over the offseason. I could see that happening.
I agree with Cam, dude. I think he's a for lifer in Green Bay. I think he definitely needs to restructure that contract, and they just need to figure some kind of weapons out over there, dude. Because I don't think Christian Watson is the number one target that they want to have for the next couple of years. They definitely need to figure out something and make like a big trade in the offseason, or draft like a big time receiver that's coming out or something like that, or a tight end. Like you guys said, that's another big target for them. So we'll see what happens with them in the offfield or in the offseason. And I really like Aaron Rodgers. I hope he does stay in Green Bay.
What was cool about Rodgers and what I liked about him in the offseason is he wasn't necessarily even putting, like last offseason and training camp, he wasn't necessarily even putting the guys down. Like he was saying about Romeo Doubs in the preseason and stuff. He's like, man, this guy, you won't believe it. He reminds me of Devontae so much. I like Romeo Doubs as well. I just think that there was only little flashes of him. There wasn't, all right, here's an actual Devontae, but he's also a rookie. But like Cam said, if he can go and restructure this deal, and what do the Packers do with his restructuring, you know? So he said, he's like, I created so many bonds there. Even if I would leave, I still would keep in contact with the front office people. He don't want to go and do them wrong. Like he said, if they trade him, he'd understand. He's willing to, if they want to go in rebuild mode, or if they want to go younger, it is what it is. And I respect that with Rodgers, because for the last couple of years, I thought he was like more of a selfish player. Like Dylan said, is he's all about himself. I don't really believe that. Like, I guess now that podcasts are becoming a thing to where he's able to actually speak, besides like on an interview after practice or after a game, to where like you only get that one clip from him. But if you can go and watch a full podcast and see what he actually says, like he's very, very influential as a person, and a good, kind-hearted person as a teammate. You know, so I think we'll see Rodgers possibly. Like, I know you guys said he's a for-lifer. I think he's going to end up moving on. I just think it's best for both sides at this point to go and see what you have with Jordan Love for a season, and let Aaron go and move on. You know, they said they would not trade him to an NFC team, which sucks, because then if he goes to the AFC, I don't see him ever going to a Super Bowl in the AFC. I think he has an easier road in the NFC than he does with going up against Burrow, Allen, and Mahomes the next couple of years. But I mean, like I said, and I think Trevor Lawrence and them, they're going to start coming up. That division's wide open every season now. You know, Indianapolis, I think, again, they're a quarterback and an elite receiver away because I like Michael Pittman, don't get me wrong, but he's not like a great route runner. He's more of like a bigger bodied guy. And I think they're just one receiver and a quarterback away. I don't think Matt Ryan was your guy to bring in. I think they just brought Matt Ryan in to necessarily say, all right, he fits Frank Reich's system. He reminds us of a healthier, better, older version of what Wentz was in 2017. You know, but I mean, Matt Ryan, I think his time's done. Like, hang the boots up, man. And that's my take on like Indianapolis, Matt Ryan. I think Rodgers could possibly be a Raider or a Jet.
Frank Reich's with the Panthers now. They just signed him today.
Yeah, speaking of former Colts coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that'll be interesting. I mean, the Panthers, they're one game away from making the playoffs this year. So
yeah, that was just a horrible division, though.
Yeah, but like you never know what's going to happen with the Bucs next year.
Yeah,
I see the Saints winning that division next year, but I mean, you never know. Frank Reich, Super Bowl champion.
That's a nice take. I'd say like Atlanta. Atlanta has like 5 years till they ever can compete again.
I mean, it depends when they get their quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Because Desmond Ridder and Marcus Mariota, neither of those two are their franchise quarterback.
No.
Absolutely not.
Going off of that, Saquon Barkley turned down $12 million in the regular season when the offers were on the table by the Giants, and the front office said, "All right, we're going to end negotiations up until the offseason." He wants something like CMC had. He had over 1,300 yards, 11 tutties on the ground, a little over 300 yards receiving. Eth, do you know how many games did he play? He didn't play a full season. He missed like 1 or 2, right?
Saquon?
Yeah, or did he play a full?
I believe he missed a game or 2.
I think he missed.
He might have missed just like a half a game.
Now, before you came in, me and Cam were like BSing about it, right? So like, do you go and give him that $16 million on a long-term deal? What do you think, Cam?
I don't know. It's very debatable because I think he's showing early signs of what Zeke is currently. Can remain healthy, is solid every now and then. You know, if they had another running back that was solid, I think they'd make a good pair. But I hate to say it because I love Saquon Barkley. I think he was awesome at Penn State. But I don't think he's worth that big contract. I think he is worth the $12-13 million that the Giants are willing to pay him. It's the sad truth, to be honest with you, because I think he's phenomenal. But he's not a Christian McCaffrey where he's like, I don't know, elusive and healthy most of the time.
People said the same thing about McCaffrey last year, though, that, he's not worth money. He can't stay healthy, this and that. And this year, in my opinion, he's the best running back in the league. So if I'm the Giants, dude, I'm going to go ahead and pay Saquon, offer him $15 million. If he denies that, then you offer him the 16 or whatever. However they do it, whatever. I'm not going to say what to offer him. But, yeah, I think he'd be worth every penny of that contract, dude, just like McCaffrey is, because you can tell with how elusive he is, dude. If he stays healthy, man, he is so effective. Any team would kill to have Saquon Barkley, honestly. Like, yeah, if he can remain healthy, dude, pay him that money.
I like what Cam said about the comparison with Zeke's contract. You never want to pay a running back that much, but when you have a talent like Saquon, he's more athletic. He can do everything better than Zeke, pretty much. He could be the best running back in the NFL. And for the Giants, a team that has literally no set-in-stone options at the skill positions on offense, I think they definitely have to keep him. And you know what's $4 million more than what they're already offering him? What's that going to change? Not much. They're going to sign him.
Yeah, I agree with what you said, Ethan, and Cam too as well. And I think that you have to go and pay Saquon. I think it's just a gamble in a way. It's a gamble because do we pay him this money and he had one good season? Not one good, but one like fully 14 game healthy season, 15 game healthy season. Do we pay him and then something happens to him? That's just a risk you take with a running back like that. Like Steve said, with CMC, they're writing him off last season. They're like, oh, well, this guy was number one in fantasy the last how many years, and then he's just always hurt than the last 2 years. So I don't think Saquon, you ride him off just yet. I mean, Kenny Galladay needs to go. That contract, but with guaranteed money, it sucks. That's why players sign, is because all that guaranteed money that's there, you're going to want to go and sign that. But, I think definitely Saquon. We'll move on from this Dallas, move on from Dak. I know that we talked about that a little bit. They were saying so me and Campbell were BSing about this. Micah Parsons said, he goes, if you look at the remaining 4 quarterbacks in the championship games, they're all on their rookie deal besides Mahomes. It was a little shot at Dak, I think. What's your guys' take on that?
Yeah, I think Mike is doing a little bit too much talking this year. He's eventually gonna dig himself into a hole with all the talking he's doing. But I think for the Cowboys' sake, they have to move on from Dak in any way possible. He's not gonna win you a Super Bowl. He's not even gonna get you to a conference championship. Blake Bortles has made it to a conference championship, and Dak has it. Like with a better team around him. So
and in the AFC.
Yeah, that Dak he's not the answer. No. They got to move on.
I agree with Ethan, dude. Like I said earlier, he's not the guy that you're going to go out there and win a ring with. Dak Prescott, man, he's just not playing like he's worth all this money, dude. Like I said, he's the new Carson Wentz of the NFC East, man. And if I'm Dallas, I don't think they're going to move on from him because I think they're pretty committed to Dak. But I would, honestly, I would try to look into like Lamar Jackson.
I like that take, Steve, about Lamar Jackson. That's literally what I was going to say. If they don't move on from Dak, they're in all sorts of trouble. Dak could be great, but clearly he's shown over the past couple seasons now that he's just not that elite level quarterback that they need. And I do think Lamar Jackson is that guy. I would hate to see him in Dallas, but I think that would just be another level.
It just seems like a place that he would work out in. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like Lamar really would work out in Dallas.
He'd give Philly problems.
I think he would too, yeah. Him and Hurts in the same division would be an issue, big time.
So would you guys then go and say, all right, Cooper Rush, if we go and get rid of Dak, can you be our guy? He's 4-1 as a starter, right?
Would not. He is, but he would not be their guy. Did I saw Cooper Rush play live at the Dallas and Philly game when they played in Philly? He's terrible. He is, dude. Like it's the truth. Like he's not 4-1 because of Cooper Rush. He's 4-1 because of how that Dallas offense was playing all around. Like it. Yeah, he's not the guy at all. I think that's completely out of the question.
No, I wouldn't say he's terrible, but he's definitely not a starting QB. Like he's like a tier below Gardner Minshew, like
where he can get the job done here and there.
He could step in if he has to, but he's not going to sign a deal somewhere and start on a team.
Absolutely not.
With that being said,
hang on. If Dak leaves Dallas, where do you think he goes? Is he a starter at another team?
Yeah.
Like I want to know what you guys think.
Yeah, possibly. Just. I mean, who's going to pick up that contract with all that guaranteed money? You know what I mean? Maybe he would want to go to the Commanders and get some revenge on Dallas for trading him. Or, like, the Jets are trying to make moves at quarterback. They could possibly pick up Dak's contract.
He's definitely a starter in this league. And I'm not a Dallas fan, but he's definitely a starter in this league. He's proven
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
Everyone says, oh, because of his ankle injury, he never came back the same. I mean, that's a little baloney, but
The ankle don't affect your arm.
Yeah,
I think he's still the same player he was before that injury.
Yeah.
He's not a running quarterback anyway.
Where would you think he'd land?
Seattle.
Oh.
Now, they're getting rid of Geno Smith, right?
You don't think they're picking him back?
I don't see why they would. I mean, I think Dak is a less risky option.
But more money.
I don't know. Yeah, but like
I don't see why Seattle
got rid of Russell Wilson. Yeah,
I think Seattle brings him back.
I think the only way that Seattle would get rid of Geno Smith if they were able to draft somebody young this year that they could bring in cheap, obviously for the next 4 years, because Geno Smith is playing pretty good, man. He's just getting up there in age. Do you really want to pay him?
I think like a 2-year deal for Geno.
Yeah, I think that'd be good too. Maybe a year and you give him a decent amount of money, honestly. And then next year, if you can't make a move for like CJ Stroud or somebody like that, or Will Levis, then you move on.
Yeah, I think Geno's gonna end up getting like a 2 or 3 year deal, big money. And if the Seahawks don't want to pay him, I think that he knows, all right, some team will be dumb enough to give me like a $35 million contract.
Somebody will, dude, if they're desperate.
Huh?
I don't know. I don't know about 35 a year.
Ethan, you know there's teams in this league that are that dumb. But
Geno's what, like 32, 33?
Well, yeah, but if it's a
$20 million a year was a big contract for a quarterback. You know what I mean? So
if I knew what his projection was, I would love to know that, because I think that they offered him something and he turned it down already. Because I think he would have got signed.
He's playing good.
Yeah, I think he was putting a ceiling on himself and was like, all right, well, bank on me then, because I'm gonna end up getting us to the playoffs.
What does he know his worth, Luke?
Steve, I think he does. I think he proved a lot. I think he did. Going off that, we got Nathaniel Hackett. That's a horrible signing for the Jets. That's not appealing to anyone that wants to go there to be there. He's their offensive coordinator. We'll make this quick. What's the Nathaniel Hackett? Is that appealing?
I mean, at least he's not the head coach.
Well, but like Robert Saleh is the head coach, but when he was in San Fran, he was a defensive coordinator. He's a defensive guru. So we know that Hackett's going to be calling the plays.
Yeah, I don't know.
The fans definitely have mixed emotions about it. I mean,
yeah. Then we got the Pats bringing in Bill O'Brien as their offensive coordinator. That might make Mac Jones a little bit happy. He coached him in Alabama.
It's very smart.
That was their OC. And then we got, all right, to wrap it up, DAMAR HAMLIN, what's up? What's going on there?
Oh, no, he's dead. He's dead. Oh, no.
Yeah. What was that, dude? Some dude saying he's dead?
No, I mean, it's the internet, man.
It's just something stupid. I know that. Just somebody to even make up that conspiracy, dude. That's what I hate about the internet. It's just attention, dude. This guy is just making up some stupid conspiracy so he gets talked about on the internet, and that's all that is. DAMAR HAMLIN is obviously not dead. He just took a picture with this painting that was on a brick wall yesterday and posted it on Instagram. He's not dead.
So maybe
we should make a conspiracy. He was on FaceTime with Miles Sanders too.
Yeah, dude. Like what? He's not dead, bro.
Yeah,
like would they build a robot and produce him or replace him with it? Like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
He's the most talked about guy. You would think that he'd be on everything.
I do agree that like it is kind of shady how he was posted in the what you call it, in the box with sunglasses on, a mask, and his hood up. Like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but like it doesn't mean he's dead.
That's kind of what players wear now. You know what I mean? They wear the ski masks and the shade.
They don't want to be noticed in public, dude. Yeah, they're famous.
He noticed. He doesn't want to talk to people.
Right, dude. He's an NFL player.
So
and he's been in the headlines of the news.
We'll wrap that up with episode 7 of The Fade. Thank you all for tuning in. This will be posted. Stay tuned and keep watching us.
And go Birds.
See you, boys.